Start this recording now. All right, we're good. Alrighty, so I got my friend here, Ryan. He's graciously taking the time to talk and kind of discuss what's been going on between both of us with the virus and whatnot. So again, thanks for the time, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
So just to kind of start out, can you kind of talk about your first impressions of the virus? Like when you first heard of it, did you think it was going to become as serious as it was, or like did you think it was no big deal? How did you hear about it?
Well, my first interactions with the virus were definitely different for me, just for the simple fact that my wife, she's from Italy. She's Dominican, but she moved from the DR around 10 or 11, then pretty much grew up in Italy. So a lot of her friends and family members were already feeling the severe effects of the virus. Stores closing down, lockdown being considered, everything that happened here that was already happening there, I saw already firsthand from her friends, showing me videos, nobody in the street. So even though it hadn't hit the US like that, I already knew it was going there.
Hmm.
So I really wasn't surprised when, they ended up shutting everything down, this, that, and the third.
Yeah, that's crazy. I totally forgot. I remember she's out of the country, but I forgot she was from Italy. So you must have heard
Yeah.
about it like way beforehand. I feel like the media has been throwing a lot at us. Kind of wanted to hear your point as or your viewpoint. And do you think what we're doing is necessary? Do you think that uh, there could be a little overreaction? Do you think that what we're doing is going to really help flatten the curve, you say? Or do you think that people are just kind of not needing to take it as seriously as it does sound?
I believe most people agree with better safe than sorry. And I think that, you know, there is a question of, are we overreacting or are we underreacting, or how is our response to this right now? And I'd rather look back in time and see that, as a country, as Americans, as a people, we overreacted to keep more people safe than underreacted. From a personal standpoint, I just feel like, we should stay at home and be as safe as we can. For me, I'm young, I'm healthy, but I do have asthma, and my asthma actually it acts up the worst when I'm sick. So for me, I do have underlying conditions. If I caught it, I'm pretty sure it definitely wouldn't be pleasant. I would probably get pneumonia or something that would definitely put me down for a while. So I take it pretty seriously. I just think of it like this: yes, I'm young. Yes, I'm healthy. My wife is young. She's healthy. But at the same time, just because I'm healthy doesn't mean I can't give it to somebody's grandma who isn't healthy. And I think that's the main factor people need to take into consideration. It's probably not you, it's the next person.
And kind of leading into other issues outside of just the physicalities of it is kind of the economy and job situation. And right now, I'm fortunate enough to still be employed. That might be changing very soon. I work in accounting. But our company is basically not even slowly, but pretty drastically letting people go. In the warehouse, I work for an old car parts company. So they're letting people go in the warehouse. Next, it was the call center. And I'm almost positive it's going to be us next in accounting. But I know for you, you were speaking in regards to you had to be let go a little bit earlier, being in the construction industry, I would call it. That's kind of
Yeah, yeah. For me, I'm actually an apprentice electrician, so I install Tesla home batteries, really big, nice, expensive batteries for multi-million dollar mansions, really big properties, estates, things like that. So for my realm of construction, installing the home batteries and the solar and everything like that, those are considered home additions.
mm,
So those are definitely they would classify as non-essential. I also work for a smaller company, so taking on, taking on this whole virus and the whole situation, the level of flexibility and level of resiliency that my job had to fight the financial consequences of this whole virus situation just wasn't as strong if you're working for, a very large or bigger company. So, unfortunately their means of, making sure they could still stay afloat as well as, following the guidelines with the shutdown. They thought it was best if they went ahead and, temporarily laid everyone off. So as of right now, the tentative plan is, at the end of this whole thing, whenever it does end, we all get hired back on and go back to work as usual. So, I'm looking, forward to that happening and, you know, hoping that's a smooth transition, but I'm also open minded to the fact that, depending how long this shutdown is, that may not happen.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to bring up that point because this virus and the seriousness of staying at home and listening to these mandates, it doesn't just affect people physically, but people financially, because the sooner that we can kind of kickstart our economy again and get things rolling, that means that bills are going to be paid, and people are going to be providing for their families and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, overall, like I think this has been really um, informative. I think a lot of younger people, I mean, I don't want to say younger people and sound naive or anything, but I think there's a lot of people that aren't realizing the seriousness of this. And I thought it'd be good to bring someone on that's younger, who's kind of going through it, and realizing that this is kind of bigger than your own personal self. So I mean, do you have anything to add about it? Anything you want to say, kind of like maybe educate people a little bit more, especially younger people that might think, oh, this is like no big deal. It's fine if me and my friends hang out with 4 people, 6 people. We're supposed to be practicing the social distancing. Um, do you have anything to say at all to them in that regard?
I definitely would say don't be the reason,
Yeah.
or don't be that guy. The virus is definitely gonna spread. It's it's gonna spread regardless if people will stay home or not, but the rate at which it will spread will definitely be impacted by how much people follow these guidelines. And I think that the only thing I can really say is don't be that reason because like I was talking to my wife, she's from Italy and she's why won't people just stay homeless? I said, baby, our government isn't really designed that way. They can tell people to go home, they can tell people don't go outside, but as far as a lockdown countrywide to just happen like that, and we're not designed that way. We have to have a state by state kind of agreement that okay, let's do this, let's do that. If you watch this whole thing unfold and you paid attention to it throughout this whole thing from the beginning, states have kind of slowly been following what other states did. After California went on a shutdown, New York went on a similar shutdown. A lot of states closed down essential businesses before the shutdown. Other states closed down essential businesses before the shutdown. So it's kind of the big states making those big moves first, other big states mirroring them, and kind of it trickling down throughout all these 50 states. And I know it's a slower process. It may not be as effective, but just the way our economy and our political system is set up, we just can't shut down overnight. And it also it pushes us to unprecedented questions. Really, martial law, that's something we haven't really used since World War II. And do you want to be the one to start using martial law when we haven't used it in so long? And how serious is the situation? And at the same time, you want to, I hate to say it, but you want to have faith in humanity and humans that we're just going to do the right thing and just stay home and think about the next person. But if that doesn't happen, well, I definitely could foresee some sort of I don't want to say martial law, but something of that nature going into effect if we do not see the numbers in actions from people that we want to see.
Yeah,
So all I can really say is, don't be that guy, man. Just stay home, only go out when it's really essential, and just try not to be an active participant in the spread of this virus at this time.
for sure. No, I appreciate all of that, man. And we're able to receive this and really take it to heart, because I'm sure you've heard that when the mayor of LA, he kind of gave that statewide stay at home mandate. There was still a ton of people at the beaches and parks and all that, and it was
Of
just led to
course,
a lot of
yeah,
frustration. And he's like, okay, you guys aren't listening. So it's kind of like a lot of people are like, oh, we're not going to act until it hits us in the face. um, so it's one of those things where I hope we are proactive about it instead of letting it hit us in the face then acting, you know.
yeah,
So yeah, man. Again, I appreciate the time. I would love to maybe do this again in a couple weeks, kind of see how things are progressing. Kind of see if we're both out of a job and kind of see how it's affecting us. Maybe it turns around quicker than we anticipate. But again, I
yeah.
really appreciate the time, man.